Hello everyone, welcome to Rockshire Gaming. My name is Eric. Today, CMON has finally launched on Kickstarter their newest campaign, DCeased, a Zombicide game. It is their next superhero style Zombicide game set in the DC Comics event of the same name. So we are going to go ahead and take a look at the campaign as it stands right now on day one. It is currently 11:04 p.m. as I am recording this as close to the end of the night as I possibly can. So basically, this is a look at the first 9 hours of the campaign, is what day one actually is for me. But we are going to go ahead, take a look at the campaign, look at the updates, see what characters have been revealed, as well as anything else that we may find. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and switch views here and see how things are progressing so far. So, as I said, we are going to be covering DCeased, a Zombicide game. We are going to be basically doing a lot of these videos over the course of the next, it says 15, 16 days that the campaign's going on. I think it's going to be ending around the 30th of the month. So we will be doing a few of these videos throughout that time, looking at the updates, kind of doing a little bit of analyzing about like the different characters. Especially, we're going to be doing more videos on days that expansions are released or announced. So I'll kind of go into that more toward the end of the video. But if this is the kind of content you are looking for and want to help support the channel, you can do so by just going ahead and hitting that subscribe button down there, hitting the like button. Let me know what you're enjoying about this. And yeah, that would be very good for me. I would like that a lot. It would make me happy. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the campaign so far. So we did just hit another stretch goal as I wrote this. I was actually waiting for the last stretch goal to be hit, or the most recent stretch goal to hit before I started filming, because I just didn't really want to deal with like a goal being unlocked in the middle of the video. So right now the campaign has accrued $494,564. We are currently at 5,050 backers with 15 days to go. So the campaign, I will say, we'll kind of go at the end of this, because if you haven't watched any of these videos from us before, we've done these on Marvel United, Zombicide, White Death. We did a little bit of Mordred as well. I feel like there's another campaign that I can't remember off the top of my head that that I did some of these videos for. But one of the things I do like to do with these videos is compare them to similar Zombicide games. And hey, look, the money's going up. And it's kind of difficult to do this because of a couple different campaigns that I'm wanting to compare it to. There's really, it's all kind of skewed. Either where it's not making as much money as this campaign, but it's unlocking more characters than this campaign, but it made more than this campaign at this point, but it has less figures unlocked, less stretch goals unlocked. It was really weird to kind of try to figure this one out. But we're not going to worry about that now. We're going to look at that toward the end of the video here. First, we're actually going to get into the campaign itself. We're just going to go ahead and scroll down slowly. So this is, we're gonna go over here. This is DCeased right here. It is a game for 1 to 6 players, or up to 6 players. It takes about 1 hour to play. It takes us longer on the channel. I think raw video we get to about 2 hours of gameplay. And in order to fight a zombie Superman or whatnot, you have to be 14 years and up. So yeah, I don't make the rules on that one. That's just what it says on the box, 14. You can't go below that. You're under 14 years old. No, you cannot play in the zombie apocalypse. I'm sorry. Darkseid's meddling with the anti-life equation unleashed a techno-organic virus that is quickly spread around the world, turning people into feral zombies who exist only to spread anti-life. The Justice League has been torn apart quite literally, and now former enemies join forces as old allies must be stopped before they can sow even more destruction. So it's a game for 1 to 6 players. We already know that. If you're watching this video, you probably already know what a Zombicide game is. You may not know fully the rules and stuff like this on this game. For any, I'll probably post it somewhere over there. But if you are interested in kind of some of the new mechanics, especially when comparing it to another superhero game that CMON put out, I did do a full series of videos on the various dev diaries, with the last one having some predictions for me that were immediately debunked whenever CMON posted their Friday video right before this campaign went live. But I encourage you to watch those because, like I said, I go through all the different stuff in there, kind of going over the new mechanics of the game and not whatnot as it differs from other superhero games. So give those a watch. Zombicide Basics right here. We've got the DCeased overview. Play as living superheroes with unique skills you unlock as you eliminate zombies. Stand against mighty anti-life superheroes and hordes of LexCorp zombies. Rescue bystanders, gaining their help and apparently apple pie while you escort them around. Collect powerful equipment to give your new attacks and to give you new attacks and abilities, and gain heroic traits to boost your actions and open up new strategies right there. There's a little bit of what the board looks like. Accumulate power to perform devastating attacks or activate special effects of your skills, bystanders, equipment, and traits. So the initial anti-life pledge is $130. So it does make me wonder if they're going to be increasing the price of the Zombicide games, but this is usually what the Zombicide games are going for right now, is $130. You do get 85 miniatures, 6 color bases, 6 plastic dashboards, 12 plastic cubes, 6 dice, 130 cards, 9 double-sided tiles, and 60 tokens. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. So these are the 8 heroes that were unlocked. Again, we kind of already went through this in other videos, but we are going to get Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Arrow, Green Canary, Flash, Hawkgirl, Lex Luthor. These are going to be your living heroes. Some people were asking during the course of the campaign. They're even still asking in the comments right now, which is befuddling to me. But Batman is well. First of all, before we get into this whole video series is going to be spoilers for the DCeased event. I would encourage you to read it. I actually read through the whole thing before making a lot of these videos, before getting into the campaign, just so I had an idea of kind of, when I do my prediction video, I had an idea of what basically what I was talking about and who was doing what. So again, spoilers right now for that comic series, but some people wondering about Batman. Batman was dead basically not after the first issue, but partway through the second issue. Batman turned to the anti-living and was taken down by Alfred, as well as a lot of other members of the Bat family. Most of the Bat family, except for Damian Wayne, was dead by the first like 2 issues of the story, and there was a lot of spin-offs. So we got that right there. Green Canary. Some people were wondering why there's a Green Canary, not Black Canary. When very early on in the story, Hal Jordan turned into a zombie. Green Arrow, Black Canary, took him down. The Ring found Green Canary, or Black Canary, and now she's Green Canary. There's that. We got the Flash. We've got Hawkgirl and Lex Luthor in his apocalyptic armor. The designer's favorite character right there. My mouse is right there. These are going to be our 8 heroes that we can choose from. I think most of the scenarios are mostly going to be dealt with for 4, with the option of going to 8, or I'm sorry, of going up to 6. So there's that. Then we're going to have our zombie heroes. We got Superman here. We've got Aquaman, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. Got the Hawkman right there, Martian Manhunter, and then Catwoman. These are going to be our 6 primary zombies that we are going to be encountering and fighting during the core game. If you do pledge for the core game in here, you're going to get a lot more stuff, and we'll kind of get into the beginnings of that here soon. And then next after that, so there's our heroes right there. Before we move on, one of the things I do want to point out, if you are comparing this to the other game and you have not seen any videos, my videos, I think I did a short on it, because all my videos I was basically saying they would do it, and then I got proven wrong. But CMON did post a video on Friday the 10th? Friday the 10th, where they were talking about the game and everything, and toward the last back half of the video somewhere, they did basically finally reveal that there was no zombie mode in this game, meaning that you're not playing as the zombie heroes. Now, that's not necessarily, from what I can infer, a decision by CMON. Necessarily, it was more of a licensing thing. Also, story-wise, it makes more sense. In this storyline in particular, all the action was on the living heroes. The zombie heroes did not, or the anti-living heroes didn't really, they lost themselves in it, and you can definitely tell that it was the anti-life equation controlling them well, knowing what to do with their powers and stuff like that, but controlling them nonetheless. So the story was more focused on the living heroes, hence why in this game they're basically going back to primarily you're playing as the living heroes. Again, no zombie mode, or technically people are trying to figure out words here. There's no announced anti-living mode in the game where you're playing as the anti-living. So there's that. So if you're wondering where are those cards at in here, they're not here because they don't exist. So next we do have the Horde Zombies. That is the name given in this game, and I believe written on cards specifically. Language given to the walkers, runners, and brutes in the game. So we've got our LexCorp troopers, our LexCorp heavy troopers right here, which are the brutes, and our LexCorp shock troopers, which are going to be our runners. We're going to have, let's see, 7 times 5, 35 walkers. We're going to have 14 brutes, and it looks like 14 shock troopers right there. We are getting bystanders back in this version of the game. So we're going to have Mercy Graves, Bibbo Babowski, Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, Lana Lang, Martha Kent, Dan Turman, and Lois Lane. And then we do get equipment. There's some examples of it there. We are getting heroic traits back, interactive objects, more in this game than in other games. We're going to have the one phone booth token. Somebody kept saying dumpster in a dev diary. It was really weird. But in here, they basically say phone booth. We got the Daily Planet Globe and the two light post tokens. So I didn't realize that. I thought there was only going to be one. I didn't realize there was going to be 2. So 2 light post tokens. So technically 3 types, but 4 different interactive objects to play in the game. And then we're going to get our Metropolis tiles. Again, we went over that in another video about, did I go over that in another video? Yes, I did go over that in another video where we talk about what is kind of on the different tiles there. So then right here we got other components. We've got our new plastic dashboards, a nice brighter blue than the other games do. We got 6 dice. I do like that blue on gray-ish color, it looks like. We got 12 tracker cubes, our 6 bases, activation tokens, objective tokens, all these kind of things. Basically, these look like things from another game. More than likely, not confirming whatsoever, but more than likely we are going to get plastic upgrade tokens later on. Be on the lookout for that, but it's another thing that CMON likes to do in their campaigns. They did it for the other superhero game, as well as its other offshoots. I will mention that game later. Don't you worry. But then we're also going to have all applicable stretch. We're also going to have all applicable stretch goals in this game when you do the $130 pledge. So you will be getting more than just 8 heroes and 6 zombies. Basically, when you pledge to the Kickstarter, you will get that whole Kickstarter box that will have a whole bunch of other goodies. Right here, you can test these out right now. We got Dark Knight's Metal crossover. So they are going to, I believe, and we'll look at it in an update here, I think later. I believe they are going to have it to where these crossover cards are going to be given to all backers. It's going to be 9 playable hero cards for all the characters in Dark Knight's Metal except for the Robins, and then 9 zombie hero spawn cards for all the characters except for the living Batman, or the regular Batman in that set. And we'll go into it a little bit more about what this is right here. You can, if you do want to take a look at them, you can click on this page if you do go to the Kickstarter page to get printable versions of these cards. So that way you can, if you want to, try them out now with other games that you may have. So there is that. Also, you can click on here. We've got the rule book. Let's see. There are some. Let's see. All right. So it says articles right here. The Dark Knight's Metal crossover set. We'll go into that later because that is a link to one of the updates, and we'll kind of hit that in a minute. some live play videos, one from the Dice Tower, which I did watch last Friday. It was hysterical. It was a great video. It showed off how to play the game, and then just the way that the cast there, Tom and Z, were. It was a great time. I enjoyed the whole thing. And then I haven't watched this one yet. It is a playthrough with Alex and Professor Meg over at Board Game Co. I don't know why I said it that weird, but yeah, I haven't watched that one yet. I'll probably watch it tomorrow at some point, but that is new right there, so you can watch the gameplay of that. And then we're going to have our painted, whatever they're going to call it this time, painted figures right here. Not painted marbles, painted something else probably. These may or may not have been on display at the Luca Comic Convention, but these are going to be all of our heroes, our zombie heroes down here at the bottom, then our LexCorp soldiers or troopers right here, and then all of our bystanders that we're going to be getting in the core box. All right, so that is everything so far. As I said, in the core box we're going to get, there's more below this as I scroll down, but that will actually spoil some of the updates that we're going to look at. So we're going to look at the updates now, but again, I just want to point out a couple things, especially when it came back to that funding goal up at the top, and we'll talk about it. That again, there is no zombie mode in this game, so it means there was no second core of the. Basically, one of the predictions I had, which I still half believe will happen, not the other part though about it, but one of the predictions I had for this game is that since this game's tiles and everything are primarily Metropolis based, that there would be a second core where you played as the zombies that would be Gotham based. I still believe there's going to be one, if not two, Gotham based expansions in the game, especially with how popular the Batman characters are to the general public over DC's, not the DC's, like Flash's rogues, Green Lantern's rogues, all those kind of things. There currently is not a second core, basically where you play as the zombies in here, and there is no Garden Gnome miniature, like giant Galactus type miniature, in this one that is driving up the pledge levels and everything like that. So that's why I said this is kind of functioning to me more like a traditional, to a point, like a traditional Zombicide game or some other similar games in CMON's catalog. So, but yeah, that is basically everything right here that is in the game at the moment. And these are all things that were revealed up to, I think, last Friday, as I'm recording this. So the 10th, as I'm recording this. So yeah, let's go ahead now and we're going to take a look at the updates, starting with update number 1, Beyond the Sea. So we've got Jimmy Olsen here with the daily snap. So this is kind of like the daily, what was it in the other one? I'm just gonna say it in the other one, Marvel Zombies. Tried so hard not to say Marvel Zombies, and I got about 20 minutes in. In the Marvel Zombies campaign, they had the daily rewards, and they do in other games too. Undead or Alive had them. I believe White Death had dailies as well. And their United never had dailies, but most of the other zombie games, they do have daily rewards. It's the Daily Snap, not Daily Planet, but the Daily Snap, basically like Jimmy Olsen being like essentially turning himself into like a war reporter, taking all these photos of stuff. And the first thing they did very early on in the campaign was they showed the first daily reward. Now these are going to come out apparently around noon Eastern time every day, basically giving us definitively one character a day that we're going to get. So the first character Beyond the Sea that we got was Mara, but they put her in as a bystander, which is something I thought was a little strange. But today's Daily Snap will make a splash. Today's Daily Reward is adding the Kickstarter exclusive Mara bystander for all backers, including her figure and card. Mara is Atlantis royalty and Aquaman's companion. She's a powerful warrior to have at your side, boosting your attacks and using her water control to extend the range of your strike. So basically, I'm assuming melee, you're going to go from 0 to probably 0-1. I don't know if it's going to extend range combatants from that are at 0-1 to 0-2, or if it goes from 1-2. I have no idea. We don't see the card yet. But that is the first character that we have. And then the hint for tomorrow, all those times I had to do some work for the weather section will really come in handy here. That could be anything. I know a lot of people are guessing Shazam because of the lightning. I think Weather Wizard would be another one. Trying to think of characters at the beginning who are more from the DCeased storyline. I know they said they're going to do stuff from outside of the DCeased storyline, and during that last CMON video, they did mention that, and I kind of talked about it in a short, but I was very much trying to keep it to 1 minute, so I filmed that thing like 6 times. But they said during that live stream that War of the Undead Gods was actually still being written as they were doing their initial planning for this. So it made it hard for them to make content, I guess, from the back half of the entirety of the event. So a lot of the stuff we're going to be seeing, especially early on, is going to be from the front half of the event. So more than likely from the regular DCeased storyline, the one, I mean, there's already aspects in here we'll get into in a minute, but the one shot that can I remember the name of, probably gonna see stuff early from Unkillables, and probably see stuff from Hope at World's End, maybe see some stuff from Dead Planet, but definitely probably not going to see much from War of the Undead Gods. So there's that. So Mira, who did some combat in the book, is basically regulated to a bystander. She may show up in the future as a non-bystander, and by future I mean like if they decide to do a promo card for a convention for her, because we know that's probably going to come. But anyway, so that is the first update. Now, also remember when this update was revealed, they actually had not funded yet. That was another thing in there. It took them like over an hour to fund, I think, the game, if I remember correctly. But anyway, we're going to go into the second update. We're funded. Time to meet the beetle. So greetings, tree lobsters. Was that something Solomon Grundy said? Yes, it's apparently something that was in Unkillables. I was trying to figure it out why that was there, because they made mention of it a bunch of times. So greetings, tree lobsters. There's tree lobsters. Apparently we're in Unkillables. Our campaign has been fully funded. Thank you very much for your incredible support already, and this is just the beginning. Speaking of which, it is time to take a look at our first stretch goal. Who's buzzing to meet you? Don't let the scarab scare you. The next stretch goal is a nice guy. So at 330k, we are going to unlock the Jamie Reese version of Blue Beetle. Now this, unfortunately, is also not a surprise. I believe at the CMON Expo in Bangkok, they revealed this character was going to be in the game. They said it was going to be an early stretch goal, and apparently by early stretch goal, they meant the first one. So it is the first stretch goal that was in there. We're going to have Blue Beetle's superhero figure and his ID card unlocked. The cool thing about this art, and I don't notice it up here at first, but I notice it down here, and this might be a spoiler for later on down the road, but definitely not for today. But apparently that's zombie Green Arrow that is on the bottom of Jamie's base. So that is kind of creepy. So Jamie Reese may not be the original Blue Beetle. He's the third, but his bond with the alien scarab makes him a formidable superhero. His armor's interface with technology makes great use of equipment, making them easier to use or drawing power from them. The adaptive technology he wields allows him to modify his attacks any way he wishes, from greater range to extra effectiveness or concussive effects. The scarab can even keep Jamie alive when he should have already fallen. So he's possibly going to get an ability that allows him to pop back up when he goes down to 0, or not let him go down to 0. I can't remember who from the main Marvel Zombies has a similar ability. I don't have mine yet, so I don't know. But let's see. His armor's interface with technology makes great use of equipment, so he's going to be able to use equipment a little bit better, possibly use it in different ways than normal. His later skills, his orange and red skill, are going to give him looks like concussive effects, so he's probably going to have explosions taking out a large group of zombies at one time. So yeah, there is Jamie Reese and his figure right there. The next update is going for the gold. This was the booster gold update. Just one more boost until we unlock our next stretch goal. So at 360k, they unlocked for all backers booster gold, including his figure and ID card, and Skeets is right there to be in the to be in the picture apparently. Can't have Booster Gold without Skeets. Many people think Booster Gold is in it for the money. Well, there's no money to be made in resisting the anti-life, but Booster still fights the good fight. Still, he avoids unnecessary risks, staying one step ahead of the Horde with the aid of his Legion Flight Ring and keeping them at bay thanks to his force fields. His time-traveling gear even allows him to alter the timeline, changing zombie spawn cards. So it might allow him to, as a reaction, when a card is drawn, to basically maybe throw it back into the deck or bottom of the deck or somewhere else in the deck, especially on those minutes, or especially on those draws where you get a superhero that you do not want to have, because all that's left is Superman. But yeah, so that is going to be his card, and there is his figure right there. Do you notice the little bat symbols? Little bat signals over there. So that must be Gotham back there, I'm assuming. So there's that. But yeah, up and away. Up and away is it's not indicating of a Superman character. It's just what they say at the end of every update. So that is update. That's that update. Now we're gonna go to the next update. Heavy Metal Zombie. So we're on update number 4 right now. Greetings, Tree Lobsters. Following the footsteps of Blue Beetle comes Booster Gold. So we technically have blue and gold, but not the, depending on your opinion, the correct blue and gold. We still don't have Ted Cord. I'm sure he'll show up. He was in the one shot, so I'm sure he'll show up. That's where Booster Gold was from too. So I'm sure he will be in the game at some point. But for now, we got Jamie and Booster right there. And here's Booster Gold's painted figure in all its glory. This is the only painted figure they've shown so far. So I don't know. At least I think it's the only painted figure we've seen. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? We haven't seen Jamie's yet. So but there is Booster's painted figure. They might do an update later showing all the different painted figures from the first couple days. So there's that. Let's see. The next stretch goal is a tough zombie to crack. If we reach 390k, we will unlock for all backers the Kickstarter exclusive Steel Zombie Hero, including his figure and spawn card. So apparently we're not going to get any Superman characters as playable characters. There's that. But regardless, Shaquille O'Neal has never looked better. So there is Steel's artwork. We're going to see his figure here in a minute. Weapons designer John Henry Irons II wasn't able to protect himself against the antivirus, even encased in his impervious suit of armor. Nevertheless, makes Steel extremely hard to take down, with a fair chance that he will be able to shrug off the strongest of attacks. At least the attacking superheroes might be able to take one of Steel's useful equipment. Now, to my knowledge, in the game at the moment, and again, I haven't read through the rule book of it just to verify the change was going by at this point. Things I've gleaned from the interviews and whatnot, but equipment, as far as I'm aware, is part of equipment, as far as I'm aware, is part of the board. You go to that one spot on the board, I think use an action to pick up the card that's there, and you get the equipment. This only says here that he's going to have his zombie hero figure and spawn cards. So I wonder if they're going to do a goal later on down the road where they're going to have additional equipment. I can't imagine they're only going to have the few equipment cards that we get in the main game. So I'm kind of wondering if this is like a example of like an X-Men, an example of a Marvel United multiverse, like throwing in the equipment cards, kind of the new mechanic they added for that game. If this is going to be, they're going to add in new equipment cards to shuffle into the main deck, or if they are going to add in a mechanic, and it might be in the rulebook, I may not know this, but if they're going to add in a mechanic where when you do take down certain characters, you get their weapons. John Henry over here, as you can see it better in the artwork here, does have his hammer. So I don't know why they wouldn't have maybe in this said, hey, here's also a hammer equipment card to use as well. I feel like it would just make sense for them to do that. But anyway, that is update number 4. Let's go ahead and go to update number 5, Small Wonder. Behold, Steel has joined the fight on the side of the anti-living. Time to rope in another stretch goal. Wonder Girl, Cassie Sandsmark. She was the goal unlocked at 420k with her hero figure and ID card. Now, I for some reason am not a fan of her holding this beam right here. Um, I don't know why. I think they could have made a little bit of better pose for her. Otherwise, like the sculpt and everything looks good. Just figured I wish the pose was a little bit different. But as Wonder Girl, Cassie brings the power of a demigoddess, similar to her aunt Wonder Woman. She can shrug off most attacks the anti-life horde can dish at her. Her lasso of lightning, which would have been cool if she was holding lasso of lightning in here, allows her to channel her rage into a devastating attack against a singular enemy. And so probably gives her additional dice when she's attacking, or maybe even lets her hit on a lower number. Again, just this is me guessing. I'm going to be doing this a lot through these videos. If you haven't been here before, I'm going to be doing a lot of guessing as to what these abilities might be, since we don't see the cards or anything, and we won't see the cards until apparently sometime around April 2025. Yes, you heard me. It actually says on the Kickstarter page, April 2025 is the expected arrival date. Probably be later. Possibly be later. Let's see. And her rise to the challenge skill grants her additional power or heroic trait based on the number of zombie hordes or heroes on the board. No matter the threat, this one girl wonder will meet it head on. So there is her better picture of her figure right there. Next, we're going to go on to update number 6, playing with fire. Greetings, tree lobsters. Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she lovely? Wonder Girl has joined our ranks. We have a hot stretch goal coming up. Sorry, all you Starfire fans, but we are getting Fire, one of the members of the JLI, Justice League. Justice League International, I think, is what she was on. Anyway, she's also in Justice League Quarterly. I was looking through that as well. But if we reach 450K, we will unlock for all backers the Kickstarter exclusive Fire Zombie Hero, including her figure and spawn card Fire, and her counterpart Ice were believe in that one shot that I can't think of the name of. They show up in that. I can't remember if they show up anywhere else in the book, but they were a big part of that one shot when they showed up. So having fallen victim to the anti-life equation, Beatrice is now a raging zombie constantly engulfed in green flames, living up to her original title, Green Fury. Superheroes should keep their distance if they don't want to get burned. However, Fire's long-range flame attacks mean that isn't very safe either. So I don't know if that's going to be like you take a damage when you're in her vicinity for some reason. But apparently she's going to be able to hit you from far away. So there is her figure. I do actually like the figure. I'm glad, just because of how small the flame pieces are on here, that they decided not to go with like the translucent parts on there like they did with Green Canary. Just because of how baked in there it is, I don't think it would look very good on her. And there was probably not a logistical way of doing it. So that was the update for bringing fire into the game. Next one is the one where they talk about the crossover with Dark Knight's Metal. So update number 7. This is where that article would take you to if you clicked on the main page. From the very start of the campaign, we are giving all backers the Dark Knight's Metal crossover set. Now is the time to take a closer look at it. So again, it says click here, but this is just the picture now. The click here is on the main page. This consists of a set of cards players can use to bring all the characters contained in the Zombicide 2nd Edition Dark Knight's Metal packs into DCeased, a Zombicide game. Please note, the actual Dark Knight's Metal packs containing the figures needed to use these characters are not part of this campaign, as they can already be purchased separately on retail, meaning they're not part of like this pledge level. You're not getting it for that, and they're not making it. I think Tiago said I think that's how you say his name. They're not gonna make it as a add-on during the game, because they're already available for retail. All right, it says right here, the Zombicide 2nd Edition Dark Knight's Metal packs are already out on retail with reprints on the way. Dark Knight's Metal is a comics event that tells a story of an invasion of Earth Zero by monsters counterparts of Batman from the Dark Multiverse. With this crossover set, players will be able to have these alternate versions of Batman join in the DCeased anti-life crisis. All the characters, except for the Robins, have ID cards to be played as superheroes. These vicious versions of Batman are very powerful, each bringing a unique set of skills to the fight with the anti-life zombies. So basically, you're using them to either fight as the anti-life zombies or Except for the standard Batman, all the characters also have spawn cards be used as enemy zombie cards infected with the anti-life virus. So there's that. We will include this set of 18 cards in every DCeased pledge. We are also making these cards available right now in a print and play version so backers can check them out in advance. You can download the files here. This is what the files look like right here. So they basically tell you to fold, glue, and cut. So basically, to do it that way, you can print them off however you want. But there's the main Batman right there. I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am Batman. I miss Kevin Conroy. That's who Batman is up here. Anyway, so we got Batman. They got the Batman who laughs, and they just went with the numbers here. Batman Earth 2012, Batman Earth 44, 1152, Batman Earth 1, Batman Earth 32, Lobo Batman, and then there's all the zombie cards right there. So that is what you would get right there from clicking on that link. I don't own second edition Zombicide. I don't know why I don't. I never really played through the Zombicides before recently. I think technically the only Zombicide I officially own is Marvel Zombies Heroes Resistance, with Marvel Zombies coming in. We have played some um, uh, Undead or Alive here in the on the channel a few times. So there's that. I got White Death coming in. I've got Black Plague over there. I've unboxed it. Haven't played it on the channel yet. But anyway, with that said, I do intend myself to get these packs. I think right here. Sorry for the squeaky chair. I have started to grab all the various. That's a lot of glare. I've started to grab all the various packs myself. My intention is to do an unboxing of those during the course of these things. That's if I get them all. If not, I'll just do it later. But once I do acquire them all. But according to this, like I said, CMON is planning on getting reprints done, so that way these are available for backers either now or a year and a half from now when this game comes out. So that way you can have that extra content right there. There's possibly going to be other ways that you can play with these cards and little substitutions you can do, but gives you additional ways of playing the game right there. So that is update number 7. We are almost done with the updates. Let's see. Update number 8. King of the Seven Seas. Greetings, tree lobsters. This zombie was just unlocked. We got fire. Yay, fire. Then hope will rise from the depths of the ocean in our next stretch goal. We've got Aquaman. If we reach 490k, we will unlock for all backers the Kickstarter exclusive Aquaman superhero, including his figure and ID card. So I like how Aquaman does have the translucent blue there, wielding the Trident of Poseidon, which is an item in the main game. Aquaman can take on the most powerful zombie heroes, especially since his Atlantean physiology can withstand the kind of damage that would obliterate a normal human. As Lord of the Seas, he can control the waters to move others around, pushing enemies away or pulling friends to safety. That kind of half reminds me of the Spider-Man from Heroes Resistance. So we got that. So with that, Aquaman actually becomes the first character in the game that has a living and an undead or anti-living version. So we again, that basically opens the door that there's going to be other characters from the core set, possibly even Superman, because I think they've mentioned it, and possibly even Batman because they've mentioned it like a slip of the tongue. Oh yeah, well this person is this and da da da. But this does leave the door open for other characters in the core box to get a alternate or opposite version in this game. Unfortunately, it also means we're not going to be able to play as the other version technically, but you're always either playing living or fighting against the zombie. But I'm not too bummed about that, but we will just have to see how these cards work. But you can definitely tell from reading through this that it's going to have basically more robust versions because you're playing as them of his abilities that the zombie version does get. So that was update number 8, and then finally I believe update number 9 Zero Chill, greetings, tree lobsters. The king of the seven seas has arrived. The next stretch goal is pretty cool. So ice, fire, they're back together here. If we reach 520k, we will unlock for all backers the Kickstarter exclusive Ice Zombie Hero, including her figure and spawn card. The cold never bothered Norwegian Tora Oldstadter. So losing her life only made her even colder. Sub-freezing temperatures follow her where she shambles, making it hard for superheroes to get close to her. Things get even more dire when she unleashes a blizzard all around her, weakening anybody caught in the cold. So I don't know if she's got like an AoE blast that does a certain amount of damage to a bunch of different characters or what, but I like the description of that. Also like how the transparent plastic there looks on the figure. So yeah, overall, good stuff here, at least in my mind. I know a lot of people were complaining about C and D list characters in the campaign, but um, like again, most of the characters in this list so far, let's actually go back to the main page here and we'll scroll down finally here. So we got Mara, who has been a mainstay in the Aquaman books for decades and has been in a lot of the newer Aquaman books, is played by a person in the new Aquaman movie. So it's not like she's not a character in the public eye. Unfortunately, with recent events in the real life, maybe affecting her, um, how people perceive the character. But again, with the exception of Beetle here, I mean, the Booster, Fire, and Ice were all mainstay characters of the Justice League for a while. Blue Beetle is a newer character. This version of Blue Beetle is a newer character, and by newer character, I mean the character's been around for at least 20 years at this point. Cassie's been around for 25 years, I think, at this point. Steel's been around since Death of Superman. Somebody, I had somebody at work today who is planning on getting this game who told me when these three characters were the only ones up, he was like, three characters have been revealed so far, and I don't know who two of them are. And I was shocked, especially with Steel. I mean, how can you not forget Shaquille O'Neal's performance as Steel? But yeah, to any long-term comic fan, these characters have been around for a while. At some point, they were in very popular, very very popular books. Because again, Booster, they were like in the, I believe, the main JLA book back in the, I want to say back in the 90s or whatnot. Definitely after Crisis was over. I wasn't reading DC at the time. I was a little too young for it, but I know Cassie was part of one of like the newer Teen Titans groups in the early 2000s. Again, Steel going all the way back to Death of Superman in the 90s. So like I said, these may be to you B, C list, D list characters, but there are going to be people out there who are getting into this game who these are going to be like major characters for them. So again, every character is always going to be someone's favorite. Every character to them is going to be the best character ever. So yeah, there's that. Like, and again, for if people who are thinking that characters like Nightwing and the Robins and Joker and Harley Quinn, if you're thinking they're not going to be in expansion boxes and you're wondering why a lot of them are not in stretch goals, again, a lot of those popular characters that a lot of the more public consciousnesses too are probably going to be the ones that are going to be selling the expansion boxes, not being thrown into um, uh, stretch goals essentially. So that's my take on that. So let's see. And now for the comparison part of that, where are we at as far as moolah goes? We are at we're almost at 500,000 right now, which I know the newest stretch goal for Ice, if I had a better brain, is at 520. So yeah, there's no way we're getting to that before midnight. So that will be on the next video. That will probably be on Friday for that. But as far as comparisons go, I do want to take a look at the main comparison that people are going to make, which is kind of in a weird way funny comparison to me. Naturally, a lot of people are going to be comparing this to Marvel Zombies. And it's understandable because this is another CMON game that is superhero based, and a lot of the mechanics for this game are coming from Marvel Zombies. So there is that between how the bystanders work has been evolved in DCeased. adding the equipment is a new feature. The fact that it's superheroes in general, and the way the cards look and the way the cards act and the way the spawning of the superheroes works is very similar to Marvel Zombies. In comparison to Marvel Zombies, and again, you have to count in the fact that there were 2 cores and that there was a whole big giant lawn gnome that you bought for almost $200. So between the $200, um, I'm sorry, so between the $180 lawn gnome and the other core being another extra $130 in there, the campaign on Marvel Zombies kind of ran away with them at the beginning. I mean, Luke Cage, which was the first goal, was at $2 million. I think the goal for Marvel Zombies was at 500,000. The goal for this one was only at 300,000, which is $200,000 less, but still, I mean, even just right now, we just hit the Marvel Zombies funding goal, and it's almost midnight right now. Whereas Marvel Zombies did hit 2 million just before, I think, within the first 1 or 2 hours. I unfortunately don't have like timestamps of when all this stuff happened. Even the stuff that happened today, I don't have like where, I got like the exact minute this came off. I don't think KickTrack has that information. If it does, let me know where I can find it. But yeah, like I said, they were at 2 million on Marvel Zombies at this point. However, that kind of kicked them in the butt because the stretch goals, they did the first 2 stretch goals, which were $2 million for Luke Cage, both a living and an undead version. And then the next 2 stretch goals after that were both Beast, a living and an undead version. The first one came at 500K more, and the next one came at 3 million. So to get one more character, both a living and an undead version of him, it was another $1 million to get that. They even then announced, I think that same day, they announced the Winter Soldier character at 350 million, or 3,500,000. I know I've probably been saying that wrong. 2 million for Luke Cage, 2 million for Zombie Luke Cage, 2.5 million for Beast, 3 million for Zombie Beast, and then they announced Winter Soldier at 3.5 million. And he didn't get unlocked to the next day. The next thing they unlocked was, or they announced, was Winter Soldier on the 19th, the zombie version. They didn't unlock him for 3 days. They had to throw in a Moon Knight character at a lesser stretch goal in order to get something going for that. So, I mean, already, like I said, announced characters, they had 5 with 4 unlocked. At this moment, we have 7 announced characters with 6 of them unlocked. So we've unlocked more characters, but it is the game isn't funding as high as Marvel Zombies. I think going back and looking at it, we're kind of more into a Marvel United 1 situation, because I think when Bullseye was unlocked on the first day, they had unlocked 380 million, 380,000. I'm sorry, not million. I don't know where I'm getting that from. And then let's see, and then like Zombicide White Death, people were talking about that one with its funding. That one I think was at 200,000 when it funded, so $100,000 less than this game. But as of the end of day 1, they had actually unlocked 19 stretch goals, and we're at 710,000. So yeah, it's just really weird to look at this and see kind of what's going on. Like, we've unlocked more stretch goals in Marvel Zombies, but we haven't gotten, they didn't fund as much. So the money comparisons, I'm going to basically compare and contrast figures necessarily. Don't necessarily want to compare and contrast the money aspect of it, because it's kind of all over the place, especially when you're looking at past Zombicide campaigns. Like I said, White Death didn't do as good as its other ones as far as money, but it did. I didn't even go back and look and see what Undead or Alive did for money, but it's kind of all over the place. And it's, because of the content shift, and again, not having 2 cores, not having a giant statue miniature, it's kind of hard to compare with those, just because there's a lot of factors that would basically say, yeah, they're probably going to make or bring in less money because there's less content right now. With that said, I guarantee on Friday, maybe Thursday, but I guarantee on Friday, and I guarantee CMON's going to do a stream on Friday. That's going to be the 17th of November. I guarantee they're going to do a stream on Friday talking about the first week of stuff. They will probably reveal a new expansion box on that. And since this is a comic related one, not necessarily a Zombicide one, they will probably do 3 more expansions next week with another 1 to 2 after that. So, and I'm talking about like full expansions, not just like a couple character packs like White Death did. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how this campaign progresses. I'm gonna let this whole thing marinate for the next 3 days until Friday, unless something comes out sooner than that. So yeah, again, I'm not gonna go, like I said, too deep into it. Again, comparing it to Marvel Zombies, they had 2 characters, 2 versions each, so 4 figures um, uh, unlocked by the end of their day one. We've got 6 right now, which isn't doing too much better. But I mean, Marvel United one only had 6 characters unlocked at the end of their day one, and they did pretty well. And then that again, that led into Marvel United X-Men and Marvel United Multiverse. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully they do well enough with this that we can unlock some other stuff later on, because there is a ton of DC characters, and you never know, they might do a whole nother campaign unlocking all the zombie characters. Who knows? But anyway, so like I said, we are going to be doing more videos on this. I will be doing a video probably Friday night, as long as something doesn't get announced, major doesn't get announced before that. But like I said earlier in the video, and it was about an hour ago when I said this, my time, so go ahead and explain now. So the way I usually do these videos on the channel, and if you have been enjoying it, please go ahead and like down here and hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. But the way we do these videos on the channel, when we do these bigger CMON campaigns, that I usually will cover the entire campaign over the course of the 16 days that it's out. I usually will do a video whenever a major expansion or some significant release has been announced. I do not consider tile sets a significant release, but um uh yeah, like I said, I usually, if there is an expansion announced, usually we'll do a video on that, going over all the other updates, usually pretty quickly, showing off all the characters that have been added, and then kind of going a little bit deeper into my thoughts and opinions on the um on the expansions themselves that are announced. So that is what we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future, and also mixing some other stuff in there for other content on the channel. So again, like I said, if you've been enjoying this video, you're enjoying the content of the channel, please, please, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, all that stuff. Let me know down below, especially if you watch my prediction video. Laugh at me if you want to about how already my predictions are all wrong. And let me know the things that you are expecting, hoping for from this game. Who are your favorite characters that you're hoping for, and all that stuff. And yeah, that's all I got. I'm gonna quit rambling. You guys have a wonderful evening if you're watching this tonight. If not, you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.